Absolute Batman, the anime? Okay, before I begin this video though, I do want to mention, if you guys like my content, feel free to like, comment, and hit that subscribe button because it really means a lot. I'm really close to hitting 1K subs. It's kind of funny because I've been running this channel for a few years now, and I'm just now getting to almost 1K. If we could hit 1K before the end of the year, that would be appreciated. I know some of my videos have been doing pretty well lately, and I just want to mention this before I begin the video. So yeah, just feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff if you like my content. Anyways, let's get to the main point of the video. Absolute Batman, the anime. No, it's not happening, but one of the artists who works on this series actually wants it to happen. Nick Dracoda? I think that's how you say his name or pronounce it. He said in an interview, or one of the things I saw on Twitter the other day, that, and I quote, he would love Studio Trigger to adapt Absolute Batman as an anime. Now, I've seen people's hot takes on this, some of them saying comic books can't be anime, blah blah blah, but to be fair, Cyberpunk Edge Runners is an anime, and Cyberpunk itself is not even a Japanese, like, a video game or anything. It was created here in the West, in the US, and they got an anime adaptation which has a long history behind it. Originally, Edge Runners was supposed to come out before the game release as a promotion, but then the game came out first and that whole debacle. I've made videos on Cyberpunk Edge Runners before, but I do want to give my take on this because I think Absolute Batman would make for an insane adaptation. I think it would be really cool actually to see a younger Batman. Now, I don't want to give any spoilers to Absolute Batman or like the storyline behind it. It's kind of complicated, kind of not. Essentially, we have a broke Batman, and in this universe that he's in, it's like literally insane. Like, all the characters are like bad, but they're like 10 times worse. Evil is pretty much the main thing around here, and good doesn't really triumph, and it involves this whole thing with Darkseid creating the universe and blah blah blah. Also, fun fact, if you guys do not know me, I'm a really big fan of comics, and I'm a big fan of Batman. He's one of my favorite heroes growing up, so I really have to give my take on this because I would love to see an Absolute Batman animated show. Now, it's kind of strange in my opinion how in Japan they have all these like adaptations of manga and stuff like that, but here in the West, specifically in the US, we don't have anything like that. I think the closest thing that we have is Invincible, where it's adapting like the comic book series, but other than that, we don't really have anything near close to animated series. We have like stuff that is somewhat like animated series like X-Men 97, but doesn't really follow like comics word for word like how manga does, if that makes sense. An Absolute anime, you could even call it the Absolute Verse, would be pretty cool, yes, as a way to promote the comics. Now, there's a few reasons why this would work. At the same time, it really wouldn't. One of the main reasons it wouldn't, like, say it would hypothetically happen, there's currently a buyout at Warner Brothers where Warner Brothers is trying to sell itself out to companies, and I've heard rumors that like if a different studio were to buy out Warner Brothers, the DC comics and the DC industry itself would kind of be under pressure. They would be under collapse, so anything that's currently happening would be affected by that merger or by that buyout. But that's something that involves on the whole business side and whatnot, which is why I don't see an Absolute Batman anime anytime soon. Why I don't think that could happen, because due to like real life stuff and real life politics that would affect the company as a whole. But I do think this could be potential if Warner Brothers wanted to increase revenue, if they wanted to start getting more into animation, because let's be honest, they don't really have that much in animation aside from Creature Commandos. Young Justice is pretty much dead at this point, and I think that's it. They only have they don't have Creature Commandos. They don't really have too many animated works in this series. I mean, of course, they have My Adventures with Superman, but does that really count? I think an animated adaptation as something as fresh and exciting of Absolute Batman would be really, really nice. Considering Studio Trigger has a history of doing some of the most insane animations, such as Kill la Kill and Cyberpunk, I think they have a pretty spot on chance. Now, I would honestly prefer a Batman Beyond animated series, manga or anime, whatever you call it. I think that would work way better with Studio Trigger, but Absolute Batman would be a pretty insane adaptation. hey, given how we're like 15, I believe it's like 15 or 16 issues out at the moment of Absolute Batman, it could work. Like there's a storyline for it. I'm not saying adapt it right now, because do they have enough material to make a season? Yeah, I do believe they could have enough material to make like an 8-episode, 10-episode miniseries of Absolute Batman. They could even cover some of the stuff outside of the comics if they wanted to set something up within the anime. I think that would be pretty nice to explore. But if they wanted to do a one-to-one adaptation of the comic book as it is, I think it could honestly work. If series if manga series can do that while the series is continually publishing, there's nothing to say that Absolute Batman cannot do it. I think it would be really great, and the world building, the world of Gotham City, and the Absolute verse for Batman would be pretty cool for Studio Trigger to animate. Considering how the fights are, how all these characters work, I think it would be really insane. I think it would be pretty crazy to do something like this, and it would get more people invested in the comic book industry. Because let's be honest, the only thing that's getting people really invested in new comic books is whenever Marvel publishes their movies and they'll make references, oh yeah, we got inspired by so and so comic. But to do a straight up adaptation of the Absolute verse as an anime, you would get a lot of new fans, and you would get a lot of new traction. You could find ways to promote it, somewhat like how Invincible is on their high end, because Invincible is by far the only series I know that's pretty much like a one-to-one adaptation of the series, and it improves upon it. So I think an Absolute Batman anime would be pretty cool. Studio Trigger definitely does have the right work for it. They've done similar stuff before with crazy concepts, and I think it would really work. Just imagine how crazy some of the fight scenes would be. We've already seen some of the fight scenes between Bane and Batman, between Black Mask and Batman. So I honestly do think this would be a pretty cool project. Will it ever happen? I don't know. Never say never, because James Gunn, the guy who runs DC Studios at the moment, I'm not too sure about the comic side, but I think if he wanted to make money, he would absolutely greenlit it. Because come on, anime plus Batman, that's like an instant sellout. Like people would 100% pay to see that. Anyways, that's just my thoughts on Absolute Batman the anime. It could work, but I don't know. I would love to see something like this happen. Maybe adapt some of the other Absolute heroes, because Absolute Martian Manhunter would be honestly insane. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Do you guys agree or disagree with me?